What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Hank McCoy, aka Darnell, bringing you part two. So last time, this is what we did in Ableton. All right, so I said that what I would do is to make a part two, which that's what this is, and we are going to go ahead and get that done. So the first thing I want to do is I want to find out that the sample that I'm using, I need to find out what key it's in. So in order to do that, there is a really easy and simple plugin I use to do that. Let me pull it up so you can see what it is. I have it in a few different windows. Okay, so it's this one here, Hornet Song Key MK3. So what I'm gonna do is drag this over to, oh, or you can just double click on it. I just drag it on top of the sample. And what it's going to do is it's going to determine the beats per minute, which I'm not really interested in because I already know what the beats per minute, what they are. But it's going to detect that. It's also going to detect the key that is played the most in the sample. And that will tell us basically the key that this sample is in. So if you do any, like I said, if you sample other people's materials or older songs or whatever, you can use this tool to figure out what's going on. Let me slide this over here so I'm not blocking anything. You guys can see what's going on. So let's go ahead and start it. I'm gonna just kick it off. All right, so you can see here it determined that the C sharp minor is the key that's played 83% of the time in the sample. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use that to figure out what the key is, and I think it's I think it's picking up my voice. But let's just run it back just to make sure. All right, so it seems to like C major. So let's try it. Let's try C major first, and then we will go to C sharp minor and see which one it picked up. All right, so and it just helps us to figure out what we're using. So what I'm going to use on the next MIDI track is a sampler that is very popular these days. It's called Arcade, and Arcade is a VST, and I think it's like $10 a month to have it. And it is really cool because it allows you access to all these different sounds. And $10 a month, you can't beat it. And you don't really have to store anything locally on your computer at all. It's all stored in the cloud too, which helps a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a bass that I think would be nice. So you can demo it here. All right. All right, that's pretty cool. Let me turn it up. No. So not only can you pick out sounds, but you can edit them too on the fly. All right, I like that boss bass. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and double click on it, and it's going to load it. All right, so it loaded it, so I can, from my MIDI controller, I can trigger it. All right, And what's also cool about it is, and what are the reason why we found the key first is because we would need it here. All right, so what we're going to do is we'll try to C major first, and then if that doesn't fit, if it's like not in the pocket the way we think it should be, then we can try C sharp minor. So let me also show you kind of the layout here of Arcade. So what's cool about it is, like I said, you can trigger sounds. You can even, if you press two keys at the same time, it'll trigger a combination of sounds. I kind of like that. All right. So if I click edit, which is now here, just click on that, and then it gives me some parameters where I can set. So if I wanted to pitch it up here, or speed it up, I could. So if I wanted to, let's say, go down here. All right. Or I could do, it's a whole step right now if I want to double time it. So we're just going to demo some stuff and see what we get. So let's go. I kind of like that. So let's add it in. You can see it here. So I kind of want that second, the turnaround to come in a little bit faster than that. You can see the two notes. I can slide it up. That's too fast. All right, Control S. Save my work. So again, if I want to go in and add some effects, like I might drop a little compression on that. It's not that loud, but I mean, maybe if I wanted to just add another layer to it. Let's see, you got vocoder, which we're not going to use. There's tuner. There's reverb. We could add some delay on it. Let's just add some compression just to kind of demo it. So this is an acoustic kit compressor. So So again, what's great about this too is, and I think C, the key of C does work in this case. Again, you know, with a lot of this stuff, you can test it out and you let your ear guide you. Some people are better at it than others, but I just always come from the mindset of, does it sound good? Does the sounds sound as though they're working together? So from the one plugin, we got it was a C major, so we can kind of roll with that. If we wanted to, we could add another layer too. Let's just see what we come up with. So I'm gonna add another MIDI track, and if I wanted to, I could rename the track we just made. We call that bass or bass line, and then we could rename this one. And I just right-clicked on it, and then I just renamed it. So that would be sample. If we had multiple samples, you could add sample 1, sample 2. I'm going to rename this one drums. Boom, bam. Control S to save. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to drop, just to kind of see what else is out there. Maybe we can add a guitar or something else that'll fit. So I'm going to drop another arcade back down here, see what we get. So we got lines, we got loops, we got kits, we got everything. So they got this from the 80s. I think this thing is brand new. They just released it. So let's check that out. Look at this one, VHS feedback. How many of you guys know what a VHS is? Let's add that in. Why not? Oh, all right. So cool. This is how you discover new things and sounds. So there it is. The 80s is loaded up. Let's see if we can pull something from it. Now, again, I'm going to change the key. I'm going to, and it defaulted to a minor, but I'm going to jump over to major and see. We could also add a minor if we wanted to. Let's demo some stuff and see what we have. All right, let's just demo. Look. It's a lot of strange sounds in this 80s mix. And sometimes, even if you know the keys, sometimes the sounds just don't go together. So you kind of have to just demo it and kind of feel it out. So if I want to add that in, just, let me drop that. I'm gonna add that in. It's just on the turnaround. So when it loops back around, that's what it brings back to you. So another thing I want to point out too as this is playing, so I'm going to point something out real quick, and I'm going to mute this track. So I'm going to turn that track off, and I just want y'all to listen to what you hear, right? And I'm going to turn the drums off too. Listen to what you hear, right? This is like training your ear. So I want you to listen. I'm going to start it over and play it again. So I'm going to teach you something else too if you don't already know. So I'm going to play it. So what do you hear? Are the elements that you're hearing, are they light or are they dark? So you hear the synth, right? That sample, it's dark. You hear that, that's dark. The bass is dark. So this is almost like, so all the elements right now are dark. I added in that part from the second arcade, which is this part. I'm gonna go ahead and rearm everything and just solo it. So the only thing that you're gonna hear that is light in this whole track is this. Right, that's it. Everything else is dark. So the reason why I did that is because whenever you're making music, it's just kind of like it's kind of like if you looked in, like if you compared it to food. If you ever had like something that's like salty, and then you had something sweet with it, and then it's like, man, like I know like Thanksgiving, my mom would make she would make candy sweet potatoes, and then she would make mac and cheese. And I don't care how I eat them. I can put them on top of each other and eat it, or I can eat it separate. But when I eat that stuff, it's just something explosive about both of those and bringing it together. And this is the same kind of way. So when you have like your dark tone, so you have to listen for, you might be hearing a jam and you'd be like, oh man, damn, how did they do that? Right? And what the good producers do, the top producers, they already know this, but what they're able to do is they add in those dark elements, right? You might be listening to Lil Wayne or whoever, and their track is dark, but then whoever produced it, they sprinkle in all these like light bells and sparkles and just different elements. And those elements, when they're blended well, man, it's like salt and sugar together, right? They just go and they taste good and they sound good and it's amazing. So that's something else to keep an ear out for as you're making beats. It's like, what am I hearing? Am I hearing everything's in key, everything sounds good, but what else can I add in it to like just give it that next level layer of personality? All right, I'm going to show you guys one other thing real quick, and we're going to wrap this up. So the next part is once you make your samples or you make your, let me go ahead and close this because we don't need it. But once we have our tracks, right? We have our drum track, we have our sample track, we got our bass line, and we have the I'm gonna just rename this one 80s, right? So we got that 80s tune. So what I would do next is I would go ahead and highlight all that, right click and duplicate it. All right. So that's what that's going to do is it's going to give me more. It's going to start filling up all the tracks so I can start to make a song. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is, well, you can trigger it that way too, but that's not what I'm trying to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let everything play for one loop first, and then on the second go round, so once it gets to about the 5 bars, the 5th bar, what I'm going to do is I may take out an element, right? I might solo or silence the bass, and I might silence this 80s sound. So it starts to make the track, it gives the track variety as you're playing it. All right, so I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna play it and record. All right, so I'm gonna hit record, and you'll see what I'm talking about. All right. So what should happen if it recorded well, and sometimes I might not have armed it, but we'll test it out and just see. So the bass line should drop out when it hits the 5th bar. Nope, it didn't. All right, so it's not armed. Let me do that. Let me see. All right, so I'm gonna turn the 80 sound off first. All right, so you see these little record points here, they weren't there before. And it also turned off track 3, which is where the bass line is on the first turnaround. So those little elements, I'm gonna go ahead and save my work again. Those little elements add variety to your track. So as your artists are listening to it and they're saying, all right, I like this part when it drops out. Like sometimes you might drop the drums out. Like we might take this part and drop that back. So when it gets to the 9th bar, when it hits this part, it's going to drop and then it'll come back around. So all these just add different elements to your track and they add some variety. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it back this last time and then we're gonna wrap this up. So let me play it, start from the beginning. See? All right, very subtle, but very effective. All right, it's your boy Hank McCoy. You need anything, let me know. Definitely go ahead and email me. Like I said, I'm putting together a course so I can let you guys learn all the tips and tricks. The next video I think I'm going to make, I'm going to jump on my MPC Touch. So I'm going to show you some of the ins and outs of that and how to use that to flip some beats and let's get it going. All right, guys, until the next time, peace.